Okay, good afternoon for all of the audience. I would like to say thanks to the Committee of International Conference of 20th Asia Traveling and Unital. Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Kamar Tuahman Sipayung. I'm from Nomensen University, North Sumatra, Medan. Well, for this chance, I would like to present my research during COVID pandemic with entitled Student Perception on Asynchronous Learning due to COVID-19 at English Department of Nomensen, Medan. Here is the introduction. As we know that the technology play a capital role in teaching and learning process due to COVID-19. Even there is no COVID-19, the role of technology really significant effect on teaching and learning process in nowadays. Well, as we know that the realization of technology for teaching and learning process in learning management system, or as we know LMS, and the LMS can be divided into two parts. The first is synchronous and asynchronous. However, for this research, I tend to investigate the asynchronous teaching and learning process. Actually, in our universities, we use Google Classroom, and here is the platform of Google Classroom in language testing and evaluation here. As we know that in this one, the red one, it is for synchronous. However, this one stream in Google Classroom, it is for asynchronous. Well, actually, the lecture arrange their materials in Google Classrooms, even synchron or asynchron. And then we need to know the students' perceptions due to our performance in learning management or in asynchronous teaching management. Well, actually, for the literature review, as we know that perception, it is a primary form of cognitive contact with the world around the student around us. Okay, so we have our cognitive contact for learning management system, even for synchron, even for asynchron. And in addition to that, asynchronous environment are not time-bound, and students can work on e-activities on their own pace. It is to indicate that asynchronous environments have some benefits for students. They can do multitask for their activities. And then asynchronous e-learning is the most adapted method for online education, especially for COVID pandemic situations. And then asynchronous learning gives its persons maximum control over how, when, and where training happens. So here are some main literature review on this research. And next, there are some advantages by using asynchronous learning. One, as we know, in pandemic situations. The first one is from healthy respect point of view, and then the students can skip the materials that they have already known. And then flexible method for learning, ideal for tight schedules and large groups, cheaper, and then doesn't hurt the case. Next, the research method of this study is use descriptive qualitative. And technique of collecting data, the first one, the researchers use two instruments. The first is questionnaire, and then the second interview. The questionnaire is delivered to the students via group, WhatsApp group, which contain a link to Google Form. And then after investigating the questionnaire, some students will be asked to follow the interview through Zoom. And then the data of this research is response on questionnaire and interview. And the total of participants is 240 students from English department students. And then the result of this study can be seen in this slide. The researchers use a Likert scale for this research. As we can see that there are 2.5% that students strongly disagree from asynchronous learning management. It's because of some situation, something like network in their place. That is why this is the great reasons they say that they are strongly disagree. In addition to that, disagree, it contains 32.5%. It's similar case with the students. Most of them say that in their place are not able to access the internet, and in addition to that, they spend a lot of quota or a lot of money to access the asynchronous learning. And in addition to that, in this case, most of students agree. We can see 49.5. They say that they are agree for asynchronous learning. In addition to that, and the last finding, it can be seen that strongly agree there are 15%, 0.4. They said that they agree, their perception say that strongly agree to asynchronous learning management. And well, in discussion stage, we can see that here there are some current research from 2020 and 2021. Here is the pandemic COVID occurred. As we can see that students' perception on asynchronous, we can see that Ghazan, Basari, it means that only two research which said that that asynchronous is good or strongly agree. However, most of them in negative perception, there are 4 researchers that mentioned that asynchronous learning management, asynchronous learning is not good. Well, this is the last. It can be said, it can be concluded in this research that most students have a positive perception on asynchronous teaching and learning in pandemic situation. In addition to that, most lecturers need to improve their digital pedagogic in learning and teaching process. I think that's all the presentation from me as a presenter. I would like to say thanks, goodbye, and see you in another time.